What's up everyone and welcome back to MMA Talk. Former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker has officially called out Sean Strickland, expressing his strong interest in facing the outspoken contender at the highly anticipated UFC White House event. In a recent interview with Main Event TV from Fox Sports, Whittaker opened up about his future plans, balancing family commitments, and his desire to secure a fight that excites both him and the fans. During the interview, Whittaker revealed that he will not be competing on the UFC Sydney card in February, citing personal reasons. The Australian fighter shared that he is expecting a new addition to his family and wants to prioritize being present for his loved ones. "I want to," Whittaker said about fighting in Sydney. "My head wants to, but I just don't think it's going to happen. My baby is due in a few weeks, and I want to be there for that period. I want to spend Christmas with my kids. I don't want to be in fight camp during that time. I've missed too many of those moments already. Family time is important." Although Whittaker has chosen to step back from the Sydney card, his competitive spirit remains as strong as ever. When asked about a potential matchup with former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland, Whittaker didn't hesitate to express his enthusiasm. "I would love to fight Sean Strickland in front of the White House," Whittaker said with a grin. "For one, I think that would be a monumental occasion. When will you ever get the chance to fight in front of the White House again? It would be something historic, not just for us as fighters but for the sport of MMA as a whole." Whittaker went on to explain that his interest in fighting Strickland goes beyond the spectacle of the event. He genuinely believes it's a matchup that makes sense from both a competitive and stylistic perspective. "I've been trying to fight Sean for a long time," he added. "We've been in the same circles for years, and I've always liked that matchup. He's currently ranked number 3, which puts me right back into the title conversation that I want to be a part of. It's a fight that would bring excitement to the fans, and I think it would be a great one to watch." The idea of a UFC event taking place near the White House has generated massive buzz among MMA fans and media alike. The concept of hosting an event in such a politically and historically significant location could mark a groundbreaking moment for the UFC, symbolizing the sport's growing global acceptance and influence. Whittaker's eagerness to take part in that event underscores his commitment not only to his career but also to being part of MMA history. While no official announcements have been made regarding the UFC White House card, Whittaker's comments have sparked excitement and speculation. Fans are now wondering whether Sean Strickland will accept the challenge and whether the two elite middleweights could meet in one of the most unique fight venues ever proposed. Whether it happens in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere, one thing is clear: Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland would be an electrifying clash between two of the most skilled and mentally tough fighters in the division. Whittaker's professionalism, striking precision, and composure would be tested against Strickland's relentless pace and fearless attitude, a matchup that promises fireworks for fight fans worldwide. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Former UFC interim lightweight champion Dustin Poirier has opened up about his emotional struggle following his retirement from professional mixed martial arts. After an illustrious career filled with unforgettable wars, legendary knockouts, and a reputation as one of the most respected fighters in the game, Poirier officially announced his retirement following UFC 318 earlier this year. However, the transition away from active competition hasn't been as smooth as he initially expected. In a candid interview with MMA Fighting, Poirier revealed that stepping away from the Octagon has been far more difficult than he imagined. "Yeah, it's harder than I thought it would be," Poirier admitted. "I thought it would be a relief when I finally put the gloves down, like I'd be free from this constant weight on my back, the pressure of improving, the anxiety of wondering what's next, or knowing that someone out there is training to beat me. For 20 years, that's been my mindset. I thought retirement would bring peace and a new chapter in life, but it hasn't quite felt that way yet." Poirier, who has spent nearly 2 decades competing at the highest level of the sport, confessed that he deeply misses the structure, intensity, and purpose that came with being a fighter. "I miss it more than I thought I would," he said. "Every day I'm still processing it, taking things one day at a time. People say time heals all, and maybe that's true, but right now I'm just trying to find a new rhythm. I've been keeping myself busy, trying to stay occupied so I don't have too much time to sit around and think about it. But man, the days feel long when I'm not waking up to train, coming home to rest, then training again or going on roadwork runs. Fighting wasn't just a job, it was my life." For Poirier, the sport was more than a profession. It was an identity forged through discipline, sacrifice, and passion. "It's not just a sport I competed in," he continued. "It was the way I lived my life. My daily routine, my diet, my mindset, everything revolved around getting better, staying ready, and being prepared for battle. That kind of lifestyle doesn't just switch off overnight." Since retiring, Poirier has found new ways to stay connected to the fight game, occasionally appearing on the UFC commentary desk and working on various business ventures, including his successful hot sauce brand, Poirier's Louisiana Style. Still, his words suggest that the fire to compete hasn't completely gone out. Many fans and analysts have speculated about what's next for the Diamond. Some have floated the idea of a boxing match against Nate Diaz, a fight that has long been teased but never materialized materialize during their UFC careers. The matchup could provide Poirier with a way to scratch his competitive itch without returning full-time to the octagon. Others believe that he should remain retired, focusing instead on his post-fighting career and continuing to build his legacy outside the cage.
Regardless of what comes next, Poirier's honesty offers a glimpse into the emotional challenges many athletes face after retirement.
Leaving behind a career that defined your life, especially one built on passion, adrenaline, and constant pursuit of greatness, is never easy. For Poirier, the journey continues, even if the battles no longer take place inside the cage. One thing remains certain: Dustin Poirier's impact on the sport of MMA will never fade, and whether he returns to competition or not, his legacy as one of the toughest, most genuine, and most respected fighters in UFC history is already secure.
Move on to another news.
UFC featherweight contender Arnold Allen has revealed that he was recently involved in a street altercation in Montreal, where he was unexpectedly attacked and suffered visible bruising to his face. The English fighter, known for his calm demeanor and technical striking inside the octagon, shared the story in a recent video uploaded to his official YouTube channel, where he was initially giving his predictions for UFC 321. In the clip, fans immediately noticed that Allen's face appeared bruised and swollen. When asked about it, he openly admitted that the injuries weren't the result of training or sparring, but rather from an unfortunate incident that took place outside a club in Montreal.
"Yeah, we've got a bit of a different setup at the minute," Allen began, attempting to keep things lighthearted despite the situation. "I'm in Montreal right now, training for some things, and I got beat up in the street because I wasn't using French. I got jumped. Yeah, I don't speak French, so that's what the bruises are all about. Don't worry about it." Allen explained that the altercation occurred unexpectedly while he was out in the city during his training camp. Although he didn't go into graphic detail about the encounter, he mentioned that the situation escalated quickly due to a language misunderstanding.
Montreal, being a predominantly French-speaking city, can sometimes present communication barriers for non-French speakers, and unfortunately, Allen found himself on the wrong end of one such situation. He described the aftermath of the scuffle, saying, "It wasn't even from a hard sparring day or anything like that. It was just a knuckle outside the glove, a light shot, then a bit of a head clash, and that's where the bruises came from." Despite the incident, Allen maintained his usual humor and composure, joking that the experience looked like just another day in the trenches. The 30-year-old Brit, who has been training out of Montreal's TriStar Gym, a renowned MMA facility founded by coach Faraz Sahabi, assured fans that he's okay and that the injuries won't affect his ongoing preparations. "Hopefully these bruises go away soon," he said. "I'm trying to get back into the YouTube rhythm, keep putting content out, and stay active.
We're in the grind, and hopefully, there'll be some fight news soon." Allen even teased a potential fight announcement for December, hinting that fans may see him return to the octagon before the end of the year.
"I'm doing what I can right now, staying sharp," he added toward the end of the video. While he didn't specify an opponent, speculation has already begun among fans about who his next fight could be against.
The altercation, though unfortunate, hasn't dampened Allen's spirit or focus.
Known for his resilience and professionalism, Almighty Allen has faced adversity before, both inside and outside the cage, and has always bounced back stronger. His calm reaction to the situation showcases the mindset of a seasoned professional who understands that setbacks, whether personal or physical, are part of the journey. With the bruises fading and training continuing as planned, Arnold Allen's focus remains on fighting, not fighting words. Fans can expect to see the British contender back in action soon, potentially closing out the year with another strong performance that keeps him in the mix among the UFC's top featherweights. Despite the bizarre circumstances, Allen's lighthearted retelling of the incident and his ability to laugh it off only reinforces why he remains one of the most respected and grounded fighters in the sport.
Move on to another news.
UFC lightweight star Paddy Pimblett has once again made headlines, this time taking direct aim at rival Ilia Topuria, accusing him of ducking a potential fight and avoiding signing the contract. Pimblett, who has become one of the UFC's most talked about personalities due to his charisma and fighting style, expressed frustration during a recent interview, claiming that several top names, including Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria, have refused to finalize agreements to fight him. Pimblett began by addressing his current situation, explaining that he's been left in limbo while waiting for his next opponent. "People keep talking behind the scenes saying, I want to fight him, but when it comes time to sign the contract, they back out," he said.
"I'm sitting here waiting. I thought I was going to fight Gaethje in Abu Dhabi in October, but that didn't happen. Dan Hooker's fighting Arman Tsarukyan, Charles Oliveira just fought Mateusz Gamrot, so there's really no one left for me to fight other than Ilia Topuria. That's the fight that makes sense." According to Pimblett, the fight between him and Topuria should already be a done deal, if not for Topuria's hesitation to commit. "I think the fight would have been sorted by now if he had signed the contract," Pimblett continued. "But he's stalling. He's another one of those fighters who talks a lot behind the scenes, but when it comes time to put pen to paper, he disappears. It's frustrating because fans want to see it, and I want to make it happen." The rivalry between Pimblett and Topuria dates back several years and has already included a heated physical altercation at a UFC event in London. Pimblett recalled the incident, accusing Topuria of trying to to jump him when he was alone. Step up, Ilia. Stop being a coward, be a man, Pimblett fired. He tried to attack me when I was by myself and he was with about 10 other people. That's how he got people talking about him in the first place. He made himself famous off my name. He thinks he's too good to fight me now, but he wouldn't even be where he is without me. Everyone knows it. The Liverpool native didn't hold back, going as far as to question Topuria's background and authenticity. To be honest, the lad's not even Spanish, Pimblett said bluntly. Let's get that straight right now. He's German. He pretends to be Georgian and Spanish just to get more fans. He was born in Germany, he's not what he says he is. Pimblett went on to express his belief that he should have been the one to welcome Topuria to the lightweight division when the featherweight contender decided to move up. When he moved to lightweight, I said right away that I should be the one to welcome him, Pimblett stated. It made perfect sense, same division, big rivalry, big fight. But instead, he got handed a title shot he didn't earn. He skipped the line, and the UFC gave him something he didn't deserve. The war of words between the two fighters shows no signs of slowing down. Pimblett's latest comments have reignited fan interest in what could be one of the most explosive grudge matches in recent UFC memory. Both men have star power, both are undefeated in their weight classes within the UFC, and both possess the kind of fiery personality that guarantees fireworks in the build-up. Whether or not the UFC can make Pimblett versus Topuria a reality remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, the tension between these two rising stars continues to build. For Pimblett, it's personal. For Topuria, silence might be strategic. But for fans, this feud has all the makings of a blockbuster showdown waiting to happen. Move on to another news. Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland has once again made headlines, this time for his reaction to the recent backlash surrounding Israel Adesanya. Earlier this week, a video surfaced of Adesanya engaging in what was described as a quirky or awkward behavior during an appearance, which quickly went viral and drew mixed reactions online. While fans and critics debated the clip, Strickland wasted no time offering his own blunt take on the matter. Strickland, known for his no-filter personality and unfiltered honesty, took to social media to comment on the situation. Referring to the viral clip, he wrote, "It's a Kirk shot because my brain no work no more." The remark appeared to be Strickland's way of mocking both the situation and himself in typical fashion, combining humor with self-deprecation. For context, Strickland and Adesanya share one of the most intriguing rivalries in the middleweight division. Their dynamic has been defined by Strickland's outspoken criticism of Adesanya's personality, fighting style, and public image. The two finally met inside the Octagon at UFC 293, where Strickland shocked the world by defeating Adesanya via unanimous decision to claim the middleweight title. His dominant performance and relentless pressure left fans stunned, cementing his status as one of the toughest and most unconventional champions in recent UFC history. In response to Strickland's post, one fan commented that he deserves another title shot potentially against Adesanya given his past performance and the current landscape of the division. Strickland replied with an unusually candid statement that caught fans' attention. "You know, the sad thing is I'm the only one at middleweight who can beat him. I hate to admit that, and I wish it wasn't so." The comment quickly spread across MMA forums and social media platforms, as fans interpreted it as both a show of confidence and a subtle nod of respect toward Adesanya's skill level. Strickland's remark suggests that despite their rivalry, he recognizes Adesanya's dominance over most of the division, while also reaffirming his belief that he has the perfect style to neutralize him. Strickland's confidence is not unfounded. In their first meeting, his high-pressure boxing, exceptional defense, and relentless forward movement prevented Adesanya from establishing his usual rhythm. Strickland walked down the former champion for 5 rounds, landing clean jabs and counterpunches while avoiding Adesanya's trademark kicks and feints. The performance was one of the most disciplined and effective displays of Strickland's career. However, since losing his title to Dricus du Plessis earlier this year in a razor-close fight, Strickland has been vocal about wanting to reclaim his belt, and facing Adesanya again could be a path back to the top. Adesanya, on the other hand, has been relatively quiet about his fighting future after taking a step back from competition following the loss to Strickland. With both men remaining focal points in the middleweight division, speculation is already growing about whether a rematch could be on the horizon. The UFC has not confirmed any official plans, but the fan demand for Strickland versus Adesanya 2 continues to rise. Strickland's latest comments only fuel that anticipation. His straightforward, unapologetic approach to both fighting and public life keeps him at the center of attention, whether fans love him or hate him. And if his words are any indication, Strickland still believes he's the man to beat the former king of the division. In a sport fueled by rivalries and redemption, a second clash between Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya could be one of the most compelling matchups the UFC has to offer in the near future.